Good morning. It is 5:01. I naturally woke up like 15 minutes ago. Been laying in bed playing on my phone watching YouTube videos. But I woke up all by myself without an alarm. And it's only 5 o'clock in the morning. Yay. Okay, so we did close on the house yesterday. That was a learning experience, but I think everything's good. We're going to head over there when I get off work today and start the initial replacing the front door because it's a thing. It's just like, I don't know what it is. It's not even a door. It's like a piece of fancy cardboard. I'm not sure what you would call it. And get the locks replaced on the doors to the outside, and then start the initial cleaning of the house. My floor is only slightly messy, so I'm doing somewhat good with the habit of keeping up with dirty clothes. The only thing on here is scrubs from yesterday and scrubs from the day before. So slight progress on that New Year's resolution. I have not messed with the whiteboard. It's been kind of like low energy days, and I've just kind of barely wake up, barely make it to work, make it through work, come home, hang out with Dad a minute, eat dinner, and then come watch YouTube videos till I fall asleep. We're gonna put this up. So I haven't done much and I haven't filmed much. But today's the day we're gonna get back in the swing of things. Well, I say that, but because I've got like 2 hours before I need to start getting ready for work. So I'm going to edit a ton because I don't have a lot of stuff edited. I'm going to run through the books, get those read for today's reading, and what else do I need to do? I need to do dishes, because dishes need to get done, and I'm going to pick up my floor with the dirty clothes to stay on top of that, and then put the shoes that I'm not going to wear today in the closet. I think I've used 2 jackets, the green hoodie and the gray fuzzy one, and then I've used those shorts as pajamas, but last night it was cold, so I've got on the stripy ones now. As far as shirts, I've got on the tie-dye one. So basically just the stuff I always wear anyways. Alright, 6:15. I've done a little bit of editing and some other stuff. I did a little bit of journaling. I went through these books, nothing remarkable on either one of those. On this one, I read a couple pages actually. So like this one for Jimmy Kimmel, talking about how he was offered a lot of money to go to a competing radio station, and then he didn't feel right, just competing against people he liked for more money. So he turned it down, and that's when he got the TV show. And so, like, what I'm taking away from it is money can't be the only motivator, because then it's going to lead you down the wrong path of what you'd want to do and what would be better for you. So I need to have like more of a better value system of like, well, don't do this just because it could make me a lot of money. Do the rental thing because it helps other people, because it's fun, it's creative, because it's helping restore a neighborhood that's kind of slowly going down, to have one more house that's not empty and abandoned, but not strictly because in 4 or 5 years I'm going to turn a profit. And then this one by Trevor Noah, talking about how even though they were poor, they had fun because they had each other, and you get to focus on being around human beings. And I liked that connection, I think, is what I'm searching for. I think that's like my guiding light of what I want is connection. And keeping with that theme, this one, it was, what are your green pastures? So what kind of like rejuvenates and refreshes you and stuff. And for the longest time it was watching YouTube videos or Netflix shows, stuff like that. But it's because you can kind of, and then reading books of course, but you can like jump into the world of somebody else and then experience like their friendships and then their conversations and stuff, and it gives you that sense of connection. But really afterwards it's very much like, oh well, that's cool because they had somebody to turn to, and I was like, I don't have anybody, oh well. And then it sends you into a spiral of all the bad choices you've made in your life, and all the times you were too scared to talk to somebody, and all the times that you were too scared to be vulnerable and let someone in, so you came off as cold and uncaring. And then I've been trying to work my way through this book still. And today it was talking about like shutting off the chatter. And you can tell how dated it is because it says the next time you automatically turn on the radio or television. Nothing about social media. So it's super old. But I do tend to watch a lot of YouTube when I'm bored or feeling lonely. And then I just stay in a spiral and I lose track of time, and hours have passed and I've done nothing but watch a bunch of random videos that make no impact on my life. So I need to make sure I'm more mindful of what I'm watching and when I'm watching. And I think that's what's going to help me with this, is like whenever I find a video, I'm like, okay, well, what do I find interesting about that? Is that something I could do too? Sort of deal. And then the other thing on this, where it was talking about simplifying your conversations and stuff. And I was like, well, this is like all kind of tying in on my problems with connection. So I need to make sure I'm communicating honestly. Do I mean what I say? Is my intention to share and not expand my ego? Like, I don't need to be saying stuff to be bragging. I need to be saying stuff that helps me connect. And like, I know a lot of videos and books I've read, it's like the main thing is listen instead of talk, which I can kind of do some days. And some days I'm just so nervous I start blabbering about nonsense that sometimes isn't related, but my brain connects it somehow and nobody understands. Do I listen to others, and am I aware of their body language as well as their words? So learning to read the room is important, because I do have a tendency of just kind of spacing out. I avoid worthless speech, chit-chat, gossip, phone addiction. And like I find most of that stuff annoying, but then sometimes that helps get like the ball rolling, is like, how's the weather, blah, blah, blah. Do I respect the importance of silence in my life and interactions with others? Can I be present with someone without constantly talking? I can, but I feel like I come off as rude or cold or, I don't know, mean. To always give more value than money you receive. I've been doing that forever at my job, and it's making me terribly unhappy. So I'm not sure I agree with that one. In your personal life, always give back what you have received. I try to do that and more. If you've received support from others at a time when you needed it, and then someone asks for your support, be sure to give it back. And I think that's where I'm at, is I'm like trying to find a good way to give back, whether it's just listening to somebody who really needs to talk to someone, whether it's helping people get a more affordable housing, whether it's helping a community kind of keep preserved to where it doesn't just deteriorate. The rule of fair exchange, I don't know, it doesn't, like the general idea of it, yes, but then I don't know, at some point I'm like, that feels too chaotic that nothing's going to end up fair, but I don't know. Okay, 3:08, I just got off of work. Got off a little bit early so I could go deal with the new house. Only problem is that Dad's not here. He's still working, so I've got to find stuff to do for the next hour or so I don't go crazy. So either it's tackle the whiteboard. Ugh. Can you tell I don't want to tackle the whiteboard? It's because I'm not really sure what to do with it, because I've got the things that I need to do, and I don't want to do all the things that's left on it. And then the things that, I don't know. Alright, so first, dishes. Get these loaded. I need to play with this, figure out how this thing works. It should be fairly easy, so hopefully that is. I've got some hot chocolate mix to try and see if it's good. Okay, so it has this frothing thing. So I think I'm going to do 1 cup of hot cocoa without the frother, and then 1 with it, and then see which one I like. The instructions are slightly vague about what you're supposed to do, so we're just going to kind of roll with it. Okay, so we have the one without the frother, which did not mix at all, because it didn't tell me on the instructions to like mix it in. It just said, hey, add your favorite powder or syrup. And if you don't tell me to mix it, I'm not going to know to mix it. But then once I added the frother, it does get it nice and frothy. And it still had a couple bits that weren't completely mixed up. So if I do like this, I'm going to get my little whisk thing out that I use for making matcha and mix up the powder in the milk before I cook it so that it's fully dissolved. Now, as far as do I need this, I would definitely not buy it again. Of course, I didn't buy this one. It was a gift my grandparents gave my parents, and they didn't use it, so they gave it to me, and I let it sit on a shelf for like, I don't know, 10 years? But yeah, I mean, it kind of works, and I'm kind of excited. I thought about getting some dark chocolate cocoa powder and some oat milk. That way my nieces and nephews who are, you know, dairy-free and low sugar and all that stuff can have some hot chocolate. And it'd be easy. Just throw in a couple scoops of dark chocolate powder, a little bit of honey or whatever you sweeten it with. I don't know. I'll Google some recipes. And the cleanup shouldn't be too hard as long as you do it right after. Sissy, do not let this sit for an hour or that milk is going to like get on there and you're going to have a hard time cleaning it. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse this off and then hand wash it again. Okay, so I got the dishwasher loaded. Top is still just a hot mess of a struggle figuring out how to load this stuff in here. Bottom doesn't look half bad. It helps that there's a lot of the same dish. So that's good. I started to clean this out. I probably should have showed you before, but you can sort of see over here. Half of it was like had milk scalded to the bottom of it. I don't know if that's because I used cold milk and maybe I should have had it sit out at room temperature a minute so it wasn't such a shock, or who knows, maybe it's just going to do that every time no matter what. But I've got water soaking in it and I'm going to see if I can get it off. I did use the little green side, scoury side of my sponge, and I know it says you're not supposed to, but I tried not to get it on the sides of the plastic part and just on that bottom. And then I used a little bit of my fingernail to kind of get around that black thing in the middle to kind of get the built up burnt. It wasn't burnt, but it's like it's scalded or something, melted on there a bit. So hopefully this doesn't happen every time. But I did get the lid and the little frother thingy. And then I'm still working on it. It's still nice and frothy. It's been sitting here a few minutes while I load the dishwasher. It is so good.